Hey everybody, it's Ruby here today, and I thought that I would do a book haul for you guys. So I went to about 9 different secondhand bookshops with my father, who likes to collect books, and I collected a couple myself, either of books that I had been looking for a while, or authors that I decided to read a little bit more about. So the grand total of these books actually came to less than what one single book would probably be. I have 19 books in total, and they all came to about either a quarter or about $1. And so I will show you guys them right now. So I picked up 3 of the series of Unfortunate Events. These books are books that I've been looking for a while. I had sold them when I was younger, thinking that I would get some money out of them and that I'd never read them again. But as I've been getting older, I've been realizing that a lot of my tastes of books have been coming from these books, and thought that I'd read them again. So I was able to pick up 10, 11, and 12. Here, the Penultimate Peril, The Grim Grotto, and The Slippery Slope. Another series that I also picked up was Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I had read the first one and quite enjoyed it. I didn't really get too in-depth with the books. I found them to be almost written for movies, which makes sense because she's a screenwriter. But because I've been getting a lot of text-heavy or very literary books, I thought it would be interesting to read these, and I'm looking forward to movies coming out, so I thought that I would read them before they were published. And the good thing about these is that I got them in a set, all 3 of the trilogy, and they do not have the dust covers, but I actually like them without it. So these will look very nice on my bookshelves. The next books are Ursula Le Guin books. I've been looking for her for quite some time. I would like to do a speculative fiction or sci-fi video sometime soon, and thought that I would read more of her. You'll see in previous videos that I've talked about A Wizard of Earthsea, which is more of an allegory and less about characters, and I thought that that would be really cool to explore. So I have The Left Hand of Darkness, which is about people who switch genders every couple of months. And then there is The Dispossessed, and that is about basically New World and new civilizations. So those will be quite interesting. I also like the feel of these paperbacks. For some reason, I absolutely love them. They feel kind of like cake, and I would just love to have a whole bookshelf full of paperbacks. Then I bought some Margaret Atwood. By some, I mean a large amount. 4 books. I don't know a lot about these books, but I did read Cat's Eye without any sort of understanding of the book or even any sort of recommendation, and absolutely loved it. So I figured if anything, I would like a couple of these out of the hole. So this is Wilderness Tips, The Robber Bride, Life Before Man, and The Edible Woman. Then I have Philip Pullman's The Golden Compass. I for some reason didn't read this in junior high when I was reading a whole bunch of other magical realism and fantasy, and thought that I would give this a try. Pretty much everybody I know absolutely loves it, especially if you like Harry Potter or if you like Oxford or Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So that was really cool. Nancy Boys by Neil Gaiman. Again, this is an author that I haven't read much of, but a lot of my friends have liked him, or there's been a lot of recommendation of reading his things. I got about halfway through Good Omens and somehow got distracted and never finished it, but I thought that this would be a good start to the author. One thing that actually drew my attention to was that in the dust jacket, it says, "Nancy Boys, God is dead, meet the kids." And that's a reference to Nietzsche, who I kind of grew up with as a child, so that'll be interesting. I have Fifth Business by Robertson Davies. I believe this is the first part of a series. The reason I wanted to read it is also an author that I didn't really read when I was younger, even though I probably should have. So I believe that this is a Canadian author, and that it is either surreal or magical realism or speculative fiction or something in that general genre. I'm a little bit skeptical as to whether or not I would like it. I've seen some mixed reviews on Robertson Davies, but I like everything that else I've been buying. I would at least want to give a try. Then I have Fall on Your Knees by Anne-Marie MacDonald. This is also a Canadian author. There is no summary on the book, although I have seen this book in bookstores and secondhand shops quite a bit. It is, like I said, a Canadian author, and one of the reviews talks about a great bow to psychology and colorful characters, and that is one of the main things I like about books, is great characterization. And I figured that if some review is talking about psychology and if there's a lot of in-depth characters, that it'll be a great read. Then I have a book that I am scared to even touch, but I have been wanting to read him for quite a while, and that is War and Peace by Tolstoy. This is, of course, a classical book. It is about noblemen in Russia, and I have watched, I think, the movie version of Anna Karenina and absolutely loved it. I loved the characters and the plot and the interwoven stories, and so I figured that an 800-page book version of a movie I really loved would be absolutely amazing. So maybe I'll do this as some sort of challenge or maybe some sort of bookathon in the future, but right now I will just have to have this on my shelf and be absolutely terrified of how long it is. The last two books were just throwaway books that I thought would be really cool. I have Netherlands, The Land and Its People. I am, of course, Dutch, and I find it really cool to be reading things like this because either I really disagree or I really agree with what they've been saying. It is a lot of stereotypes and a lot of descriptions of people that I know, so it'll be a great and hilarious read, and maybe I'll actually learn something out of it because I haven't actually been to the Netherlands. And this last book is a book that my dad picked up for me while we were out buying books, and that's Of Dutch Ways, and it is a very similar book as well about Dutch people and about Dutch culture. It is without a desk cover, so the only thing that you'll be able to see is, of course, the spine here. So that was everything. I hope you guys enjoy it. Please let me know down below if there's any books that you find particularly interesting, or if you would like me to talk about or do a book review on. I will hopefully be reading a lot of these books fairly soon, but I've said this in previous videos and it hasn't always gone that way, so we will see what happens. Obviously, like, subscribe, do your thing if you liked this video, and I will talk to you guys later.